Going to tell you a little about myself, and I'm going to take you through a little journey, a kind of a life story, up and about to where I became a film actor, a commercial film actor. I was born in 1959. So everyone's calculating. Buddha ho gaya sala. 1959, yeah, okay. December. And this is not meant to be a sad story, but it's a story of a struggle. It's a story of what we are trying to talk about. The theme of this conference, Kanika, if I'm not mistaken, is it's a jungle out there. But it was always a jungle out there. It was a jungle in the prehistoric times. It was a jungle during the jungle period. It was a jungle during the World War II. It was a jungle even today. It's going to be a bigger jungle tomorrow. So we know it's a jungle out there. But my whole point in this whole exercise is that you know what it is? It's a jungle in here. No matter what is happening out there, you can combat that if you have a nicer jungle inside of your head. And it's not very easy. We all have problems. We all go through the ups and downs and the vagaries of life, don't we? None of you can say that you're having a perfect life. Can anyone stand up and say, I'm having the most perfect life? No. So I was telling you, I was born in the December of 1959. My father, God bless his soul, died in the May of 1959. So I was born what is known as posthumously. 6 months later, I arrived, later than, always late. No, not really, I'm pretty punctual for a film actor. I came into this world 6 months after my father died, and I, true to form, was always surrounded by women. Mommy, who survived, okay. What's happening out there, man? Okay. My mom, I had 3 sisters, I have 5 masis, my dad's 2 sisters, their friends, my cousins were mostly girls. I did not know what a man looked like. I did not know, when I heard a male voice, a male booming voice, I literally wet my pants. I used to be so scared of the male because I was not exposed to a male. So as a child, I was a very, very frightened child. Afraid to open my mouth in case I heard this voice. And my neighbors' kids had a big, bossy father, God bless him. But when I heard his voice, I used to hide under the bed. The other problem was that I had a speech defect, believe it or not. I was what we call in Hindi is totla. So I was totla, and on top of it, I had this huge, huge lisp. You can see me up there. The lisp goes something like this. Somewhat like how Virus spoke in 3 Idiots. So as a little kid, now you're not cheering me right now, all right, for talking like Virus. But when I was a kid, believe it or not, kids, people used to laugh. And it used to embarrass the living daylights out of me. Why are they laughing? Am I stupid or what? What do they find that makes me feel so embarrassed every time I open my mouth, somebody laughs? So if I say there are so many classes in my school, they used to laugh just like you're laughing right now. And I would say, no, something's wrong with me. So I'm a defective piece. I used to look at kids with their father and I say, something's wrong with me. These kids have a mother and a father, and something's not quite right. To make matters worse, I was dyslexic, I was dyscalculic, I had attention deficiency, and so many other problems. But at that point of time in life, Amir Khan had not made the movie Tare Zameen Par. Nobody knew what dyslexia was. So they used to call me, the very technical term was duffer. So I was known as Boman the Duffer. I'm not joking. When I went for my entrance exam to St. Mary's School in Bombay, God bless the school, it's the best institute that I've been lucky to have been part of. That you should be lucky to be part of a wonderful institute like this. But the principal knew the predicament, and he told my mother that, you know what, I'll ask him 2 simple questions. I'll just show him a photograph of an animal, he'll answer it, it's a formality, We'll get him into school. Don't you worry, Mrs. Irani. Mrs. Irani was very, very happy. My mom was huge. Huh? So Mrs. Irani is very, very happy that her son is going to get into St. Mary's School. Thank you, darling. I'll chuck this here. So I'm sitting over there, and he has to show me the photograph of an animal. Now, if he had shown me the photograph of an alligator, even as a little 3.5-year-old or 4-year-old to join nursery school in St. Mary's, I would have answered it, right? Any animal, penguin, I would have answered it, all right? Emu, I would have answered it. Dodo, I would have answered it. But he showed me the photograph of a horse. Horse. So I said to myself, Boman, little Boman with a squeaky voice, I said, Boman, be smart, man. Be smart. Beat them at their own game. Don't let them know that you have a lisp. Don't let them know, because if they know you have a lisp, and that might be a defect, and for that one reason, they may not admit you in the school, so don't answer. Jawabi mat do yaar. Better. So I looked at the photograph, and I looked at father's face, looked at the photograph, looked down, and I said, come on, you don't know what this is? You go on rides? No. You don't know what this is? Now, how can I tell him I don't know what this is? And I didn't answer. And guess what? He didn't give me admission. Yeah, he didn't give me admission. How can he give an admission to a child who doesn't know what a horse is? Right? Then he showed me another animal. It also had a hesitant hippopotamus. How am I going to say hippopotamus? So I didn't answer. He didn't give me admission. My mother cried and cried and cried. She wanted to actually beat me up, but she felt bad. Somehow we spoke to the principal, told him about my predicament, and then I finally got into school. But things got complicated because I was dyslexic, dyscalculic, and attention deficiency syndrome problem. So my grades were terrible, and I never spoke, guys. Friends, I never spoke and opened my mouth till I was in the 7th standard. I didn't speak. And the remarks that used to come in my calendar, my mother would say, why don't you get a remark where they say, you are very naughty, you're very mischievous, you're very talkative, why don't you do something like that? Instead, they should write in my remark card, he's very reticent. Now, I didn't know what the hell reticent meant. So I looked up the dictionary. Reticent means quiet, doesn't speak. And let me tell you, it's better to be mischievous, they say, than be reticent, because that's scary. Now, by the time I got to the 10th standard, I'd corrected my speech. As you can see, I don't have the defect anymore, unless when I recall it to play roles like Virus and Munna in Three Idiots. I passed out of St. Mary's School with not such great marks. And in those days, let me tell you, there were only 2 or 3 kind of jobs that you could take, 2 or 3 kind of courses. You either became a doctor, you became an engineer, or you did your BA and became an officer of some kind, What do I do with myself? I said, I'm going to be smart about this. I don't have a bent for academia. I don't have the bent to go and sit in a college and study, because I am and still am a little anti-establishment, even though I behave myself most of the time. Also, I make people believe that I do. But I went and did a waiter's course. I said, I'm not meant for this. Let me go and do something that I can handle. So I went and did a 6-month-long course as a waiter, and I went to the Taj Mahal Hotel for a job as a waiter. I went to the resident manager, to the personal manager, a gentleman called Sam Bhada. Sam Bhada runs a hotel in New York now, but when I was 19 years old, and he asked me, so, what do you want to do? I said, I want to work in this hotel. He says, which department? I said, food and beverage. He says, idiot, the entire hotel is about food and beverage. Which department? I said, I'd like to work at the French restaurant, the Rendezvous. The Rendezvous restaurant, which is the top of the Taj Mahal Hotel. Everybody knows where the Taj Mahal Hotel is, right? Yeah. So, guess what happened? He says, you want to start at the top? Sorry, Sonny, you start at the bottom. Okay? So he sent me to the basement of the Taj Mahal Hotel. I came out of the elevator of room service. And the moment I came out of the elevator, one guy stuck a tray in my hand and I shoved me back in the elevator again. And I was in room service for about 6 months. After that, I did a stint as a bar waiter in the Apollo Bar in the Taj Mahal Hotel. And finally, I made it to the top. I made it to the Rendezvous French restaurant as a waiter. And I said to myself that if that's what I'm going to be the best at it. And I became a damn good waiter, let me tell you. It's something that my grandmother told me. And she said that in Gujarati, we are Parsis. And she said, and I'm not saying it in a derogatory kind of way, but she used to always say that, gali ka mochi banna, lekin sabse best mochi banna. And I said, sure, if I'm going to be a waiter, thank you, darling. You want an autograph? No, just okay. And I worked at the Taj Mahal for 2 years. While I was in school, my mom knew I was not leaning towards academics. So she used to send me to the theater across the street. This is where I lived, and exactly where the youth conference banner is was a cinema called the Alexander Cinema. And every day I used to go and watch a movie after school. And every day when I would come back and I would pretend to do my homework, my mom would ask me, have you done your homework? I said, yeah. Of course I was lying. Saying, go watch a movie. I said, what movie? She's saying, what movie is playing? I would say, Pyasa or Ben-Hur. She's saying, then go again. I said, go see the same movie again? He's saying, yeah, go see it again. I said, why? He's saying, you've seen it once for the movie in its entirety, for what it stands for. Now go and watch it for the cinematography. Go and watch it for the music the next day. Go and watch it for the lyrics another day. Go and watch it for the acting the other day. Go and watch it for the art. Such was the vision of my mom, that she encouraged me at a time where mothers encourage their children to study. She used to send me to the movies because she saw an education in it. She saw an education in the films. Everybody over here knows who a Parsi is? No. Okay, is it okay if I, yeah? Yeah, little by little, one by one. No. Little by little. Everybody over here know who a Parsi is? No, I want to know. Put up your hand and answer. Yeah, tell me. Sorry? Parsi is not a language. Farsi is a language. No, it's not a language. The Parsi is a community that follows Zoroastrianism. Anybody knows of any Parsi people? Just hold this, darling. That's the one I just threw on the floor. Yeah. Everybody, so Parsi is not a language, Farsi is a language. Ratan Tata is a Parsi. Okay. Freddie Mercury, band Queen, is a Parsi. Shamak Davar is a Parsi. J.R.D. Tata was a Parsi. Everybody knows these people, right? Famous people, great people. You know, you can tell a Parsi from his nose. Yeah, a long nose. So that makes Prince Charles also a Parsi. So I came from this Parsi community, and the Irani community always had Irani restaurants where they serve chai and bun maska. You may have heard of it. You may have read articles of chai and bun maska that are famous. What happened was that my mom met with an accident because she was running a little business that my father left when he died, which used to make potato chips, farsan, gathia, papdi, you know, fafda, the stuff that Gujaratis eat. You know, which Kareena Kapoor said, it sounds like bad words, you know. I used to sell that with my own hands. I used to fry the wafers. We used to cut potato chips. We used to fry it in a bhatti. Bhatti as in a furnace, a big kadai. Fry it, take it out of the fish net, put it on a counter over here. Use the weighing scale that vegetable vendors use. You know, the Libra scales. Parcel them, staple them, sell them. I used to do that. I did that till I was 32 years old. A shop in the Grant Road area. Grant Road area is the red light area of Bombay. So I grew up in a very rough area, which is also the cinema district of Bombay. And it was my world. The shop was no bigger than from where the speaker is over here till around here. and this deep. That was my world where I set up my life. And I made a living selling chips, wafers, gatia, farsan. That's where I met this beautiful woman. Can you guess? My mother-in-law, she came first and checked me out, yeah. So, oh God, those were the days. I decided at some point in life that I need to move on. I need to move on because I really felt that inside of me there's a creative person who needs to do something really, really badly. So I started learning photography on my own. And while I was at the Taj Mahal Hotel, I used to get tips, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, and very gladly I used to make tips and put them in a piggy bank. And from that piggy bank, I bought myself a camera. I bought myself a camera and I started taking sports pictures, making 20 rupees, 25 rupees, 30 rupees per picture, collecting it and paying for my hobby. I wanted to be a photographer someday. Now I'll tell you a little story that probably changed my life. When I started making money as a photographer, and you know, it's difficult buying equipment, would you not agree? It's really difficult and expensive, especially if you're making 25 and 30 rupees a photograph. And I used to make money by taking pictures of school cricket, school football, school matches, because mummies were always willing to pay for their kids. I made some money, and 7 years after I was married, I could afford to take my family for a holiday. The first time I took my grown-up boys, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, for a holiday. And I said, I need to do this. This is the jungle inside my head, that I have to do this. What happened was, I decided, in the good old days, there was no internet. There was no internet. We had to look up the yellow pages and the classifieds in the midday or something like that. I looked for a hotel in Ooty. It was called the Shoreham Palace Hotel. And I was so excited because the name of the hotel had palace in it. But acha laga yaar, palace mein jayenge, you know. We went by train to Bangalore, took an ST bus, me, my wife, 2 kids. And I was so proud of myself that I was taking my family for a holiday after 7 years. We went there and we saw this hotel. It looked like a bhoot bangla. It was, yes, darling. I went to this hotel and I'm saying, this is scary. So I looked at my wife and my wife is looking at me and I said, no, don't worry. It must be a heritage hotel. Let's go inside. Let's go inside, have a look. So my wife, inside it must be nice. They've maintained that old look from outside, you know. So we went inside and they were taking us to the room. And the guy opened the door to my room. And we stepped inside the room. It was pitch dark. So the old guy went towards the switch. One light came on. It was still pitch dark. There was a 0 number bulb in the room. 1 0 number bulb in that blooming room. And I was so embarrassed of myself that here I'm trying to do something good for my family, taking them for a holiday, sat in a train. My kids had not sat in a train. We went to this hotel called the Shoreham Palace Hotel. And this was a disgusting, old, scary room. And I had tears in my eyes. And then at that point of time, I couldn't help myself. I started laughing. I said, the only way to deal with this is to look at the bright side of it. I said, if we are here for 7 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay for 3 days. But I'm not going to stay here. So I went on foot across the entire town of Ooty looking for another hotel that would be in the budget, that would be a little more decent. We found a hotel, we stayed for 4 days, I went back, and I decided, that was an epiphany that I had in my life. That is the jungle within that I had to sort out, that I'm going to take control of my life today. I will never in my entire life have to come to a point where because of my small way of thinking, and my small way of thinking was sell a picture here and sell a picture there. Because of that, I will never have another 0 number bulb moment in my life. I made that decision. And let me tell you, a zero number bulb moment comes in everyone's life. No matter, even if you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you will have a number bulb moment in your life. Be prepared for it, because if you don't have that moment, there is no way in the world that you are ready to do bigger things. So pray for your zero number bulb moment the earlier on in life. And I can bet you something, kids, I can bet you something. Some of you have already had that moment in your life when you say, I'm going to take control of my life. This is bullshit, man. I can't go on like this forever. I can't have people telling me that I'm a bloody failure and I'm a bloody loser. Has it ever happened to you? Tell it. Be brave and put up your hands for all those people who have had that zero number bulb moment in their lives. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You're all going to be very successful, I promise you. A big hand for you. I came back to Bombay, and then I had to kind of work like a donkey to make sure that that zero number bulb moment never happens again. So I wore my camera around my neck. I said, I'm not going to wait for people to give me jobs. I'm going to create the damn job for myself. So what I did was, I stood on a chair. At 5, I didn't sleep the whole night. I said, I have to do something and make a strategy. I've got to make a plan. I've got to do something with my life that I can be proud of for the rest of it. And that plan was, yes, darling, thank you. So I stood on a chair, I wore my camera around my neck, and I kind of, I did this to my wife. Zenobia, Zenobia. Well, what happened? Zenobia, from this day on, I'm a photographer. I declare it myself. I'm not going to wait for people to give me jobs. I'm going to go and get out there just those jobs myself. So what happens, this is around when I'm 32, 33 years old at this point of time. I've got 2 kids and I've got, just about managed to buy myself a scooter. Big guy, 6'2" guy, legs spread apart on a little scooter. I mean, the funniest sight you'll ever see in the world. The World Cup of boxing was coming to Bombay. The World Cup boxing, which means Olympians were coming to Bombay. Today you get to see Commonwealth players and other World Cup, world-class people come. But in the good old days, it was a rare event that an Olympic level event was coming to our city. Rare. So I went 6 months prior. This is one of the life-changing moments in my life, which I needed someone up there to tell me, I'm supporting you and you are on the right track. I needed a voice to tell me from inside, from above, you can make it. I went and met a gentleman called Aspi Adajania. He was the president of the Boxing Olympic Association of India. And I went and told him, I said, Mr. Adajania, my name is Boman Irani. I'm a photographer. I specialize in sport. I'd like to be the official photographer of the World Cup. So he, Parsi old man, he said, no, we don't need anybody. Okay, what? I said, ye kaisa aadmi yaar? I'm asking him, all the press people will give me photographs for free. Theek hai yaar. I said, that's very rude. I said, okay. At that point of time, if I turned on and told him, and walked out. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what. Mr. Adajania, I'm going to say something to you. I will work in your office for 6 months. I will be a volunteer. I'll help. I'll run errands. I'll make coffee. I'll pick up mail. I'll do all that. There was no email those days, of course. Just give me a ringside badge to sit to take photographs of this event. So he said, okay, we'll think about it. Bye-bye. I was walking out, okay? And he said, come here. And I came back into his office. And he said, have you ever shot a boxing match? Oops. I said, no. He said, then you have some cheek to walk into my office and say that you want to be the official photographer of the World Cup. I'm sorry. So I said, Mr. Adajania, the tournament is 6 months away. And I'm a sports photographer. There is a tournament of the Western India Boxing Association coming up. I'll go, I'll practice, I'll show you pictures. but give me this one shot. He says, okay, you're aware of the Western India Boxing Association thing? I read it in a pamphlet on his office only. so, I said, the Western India, oh, very good, very good. Okay, okay. So you go take pictures, and then come back. Yeah, we're wasting too much of paper, yeah. It's okay if I sweat. So I went and took pictures of these very bad boxers with knobbly knees, thin guy. The miserable boxing. But I decided to be different. So if a bunch of photographers are covering it from there, I would cover it from there. If a bunch of photographers are covering it from there, I would go up on the tarafas and take top shots. I will not do what the crowd does. And that is something that has been one of the mantras of my life. Do not do what everybody else does. Do it differently. And why? Why? Aren't we different? Aren't we unique? Do we look like another guy? So why should we act and behave like another guy? Are we the same in height, in the way we... Why? Tell me. Anyway, I took those pictures and I came back the next day after the whole week of boxing that took place. Taking a photograph? How sweet. Take a photograph, yeah. Want me to pose? Yeah, I'm posing, man. Okay. So what happened was, I had this envelope of my pictures, and I tell you, they were good pictures. The boxing was terrible, but the pictures were good. And I put it on Mr. Adajania's table. He opened them, and he looked up, and he smiled. Now, this is what I say in our lives. If you have taken control of yourself, and if you have mapped out your own life, you will meet the right people at the right time. And it's not a miracle. That's the way the world is. That's the way it is. You will meet the right people at the right time. If the people who you've reached out to see passion in your eyes, see the fire in your belly. Here's a 33-year-old man with children of 2 willing to kind of be an office boy for you. He obviously saw that I meant business, that I'm willing to give whatever it takes to do this right. And he's not paying me for it, mind you. So he saw the pictures. And he says, Boman, I've been all over the world and I've seen lots of boxing pictures. These are probably some of the best boxing pictures I've seen. This is the same guy who was barking at me 15 days ago. And guess what he did? This is the wisdom of people who will come into your life if you attract them, of course. You have to attract them with your passion. He opened the drawer, and he took out an envelope, and he gave me the envelope. I opened the envelope, and there was a letter, and says, you are the official photographer of the World Cup of Boxing this year. Guess, now, this is a pre-type written picture, letter, even before I have shown him the pictures. What does that tell you? It tells you that he knew the pictures will be good. That tells you that I was not going to go there with bad pictures. He also had a vest made for me with my name on the back, Boman Irani, a yellow-colored vest with pockets that photographers have. He made it with pockets and said, official photographer of the World Cup. And he made me wear it. There and then. What happened next was another, in my mind, miracles are not about prophets walking on water. Miracles are not about, because we don't see that. This is too modern. We don't know what happens. We don't need to see pestilence when somebody calls for pestilence. That's not a miracle. Or bringing the dead alive. That's not a miracle. The miracle is meeting people who believe in you, if you believe in yourself. So he introduced me to a guy from the Norwegian boxing team. Okay? And he said, go and take pictures for these guys. They are the only team that have a boxer and the only team that is sponsored. So I said, okay. He said, they're black and white pictures. I said, but I'm shooting for you in color. He's saying, forget about it. Stop acting like a Parsi now. Just go and do the damn thing. So I went and met the Norwegian guy, and he wanted 3 specific pictures. I tell you, every time I say this story, I'm really surprised at the way it pans out. The guy told me, give me one at a time. The guy told me that he wants 3 specific pictures. There's a boxer. They had one boxer in their team. His name was Ola Clemetson. And he said that, I want 3 very specific pictures. Can you take it? And I can never say no. I said, of course. We do it. Q&A. Yes, sir. The first picture is of a glove landing on the opponent's face, like this. And the face going little like that. And sweat flying. You know those kind of pictures. He wanted one specifically. The second picture he wanted was of the guy that he knocked out on the floor and him dancing over it. And the third picture he wanted of the Norwegian flag over his head. Can you do it? I said, sure. In my mind, I want to tell him, will your idiot knock out that guy, first of all? Will that, my mind is, racing. And then he asked me a business question. You all are commerce students, you should give me a good answer. The business question was, and I'd like you to answer it for me, because I'm not much of a businessman, as you can see. The business question was, how much will you charge per picture? So what do you think I said? Anybody? Sorry? Sorry? Loudly. 25 what? Moms were giving me more than that. 25 rupees. No, guys. Yeah. He's saying, I asked him how much he would pay me. Then he'll say 25 bucks, like that guy, that cheapskate over there is saying so. No way. Who's that guy who said 25 bucks? My pictures are pretty good, yeah. You really believe they said 25 bucks? Okay, no. I didn't want to take that chance because that means I don't know what a professional I am myself and what I'm worth and what my picture's worth. That gives out. What you say has a subtext to it. Anybody else? Yeah? Darling, he wanted 3 pictures. Abhi official photographer ho gaya na main. Paise kitne? Paise ki baat karo. Sorry? Free? What kind of commerce student are you? Really? Anybody agrees they should have done for free? 1,000 rupees? 10,000. See, that's what I said. No, agar if I said 10,000, 5,000 means I'm tokawing. I didn't want him to know that I don't know what the real price is. So, why should I, if I undersell myself, why should I do that? Why should I shortchange myself? Why should I oversell myself? If I say a ridiculous amount of money, he'll say, you don't know what you're talking about. If I'm selling myself cheap, he'll say, why are you selling yourself cheap? There's something wrong with you. If I'm overselling myself, why are you overselling? There's something wrong with you. I didn't want to commit, so I did not say a price. I think I said probably one of the smartest things I've ever said. That's the only business decision that I've ever made that was smart in my mind, besides getting married, was, I said, sir, you pay me international rates. Whatever you pay anywhere else in the world, you give to if this job went to an American, or it went to a British person, or it went to a European photographer, you would pay him what the fixed international rate is. You pay me what you pay them. Why should someone pay an Indian less than anybody else in any corner of the world? So I thought I said a damn smart thing. Now I didn't know what the international rate was. I said, okay, international. I said very common. International rates, whatever the international rates, no problem. And I came out there, oh, what the hell are the international rates? I didn't know myself. So I met some press photographers and I said, tell me, when you sell your pictures to a syndicated, column in another, thank you, darling. How much do you charge? So there was some senior photographer who said, oh yeah, you're getting a job? In your first outing, you get an international thing? I said, yeah. He says they will pay you anything from $60 to $100 per picture. I said, oh man, $100. I mean, so 3 pictures, I'm calculating, 3 pictures, $300, or 6 pictures, $60, 3 pictures, $180. I said, I'm going to be a rich man. And to me, let me tell you, it was a treasure. It was a lot of money. For the guy who went to Shoreham Palace into this Bhut Bangla, I tell you, that could really, really make a difference to my life and my confidence. This was like a miracle happening for me. And I couldn't stop. I used to talk in dollars after that. Arey yaar, wo jeans yaar, wo $20, $25 ka jeans. I was talking dollars only. And suddenly I became, dollar man. Came the day of the fight. Came the day of the fight. I'm sitting by the ring. It's a square ring. I don't know why they call a ring a square. Anyway, so it's a square ring, and I'm sitting down there with my camera, and I'm talking about a very simple camera called the K1000. Click once, thumb wind. Okay? And I'm saying, God, get this Norwegian guy to beat the shit out of the other guy, man. And that's what happened. The Norwegian guy was getting pasted. That guy was beating and digging into the Norwegian guy. I said, here go my $300. I can see $300 with wings on them flying away, He was getting really, really hammered up. And I'm saying, God, what's happening to me? This can't be happening to me. I mean, I've worked too hard to get to this stage where I can, go ahead, make a career for myself, buy some equipment. This $300 will go such a long way. Comes round 2, and the Norwegian guy swings but once. One roundhouse. Now, we are all in the corner of the stage. And I'm telling you, if this was happening in my studio, it couldn't have been done with a better setup. It was literally as if he was performing it for me. So they're dancing around here, and I'm sitting, say, there, okay? So they're dancing around, boxing, and they come right here for me, posing. It's like a miracle. And pop! I got my first shot. And then, like a miracle, that guy goes, oh, dang. He's on the floor, this guy's dancing over him. Second shot, within seconds. The next thing we know, he's been declared the winner. He goes in the corner, picks up the Norway flag, and he comes out doing this. Third shot. Done. Now what happens? Yeah, now they sent a guy, the girls are fed up. Okay. It's a fresh one, no? You've not used this, no? Fresh. Now, I have to go develop those pictures, print the pictures, and radio photo those pictures to Norway. There was no laptop. There was no computer. Everything happened through one scanner. In the entire city of Bombay, there was just one scanner that could radio photo these pictures. There's no mouse, there's no click of the mouse, there's no email, there's nothing. You know that, come on. How would you know it? You guys are born in there now. What am I saying? Anyway, I printed those pictures. They were meant to be black and white. I went to VSNL. I go over there. I put in those pictures. He takes the money from me. He gives me a little slip. Pictures accepted. They will reach by 2 o'clock in the morning. Matches happened at around 7 o'clock in the evening. 2 o'clock in the morning they'll reach, because to scan one picture, it would take about 2.5 hours. Okay? In this machine that looked like a blessed washing machine. That big. Okay? I said, okay. So I go home. It's pretty late now. And a phone call rings at my house. My wife is sitting outside on the steps of my house. And I go inside, and it's a long ring. The long ring means international call. Pick up the call and said, hello, Mr. Irani. I said, yeah, how are you doing, man? He says, the photographs have not arrived. I said, Mar gaye saale ka. I said, okay, I'll call you back. So I call up VSNL and I ask them. He's saying, wo photo nahi bheja. I'm like, kyun? नहीं वो क्या है, वो मशीन पैक कर दिया, भेज दिया किधर? बोले किधर भेज दिया? आई मेट यू फ्यू आवर्स अगो, व्हाई डिड यू सेंड इट अवे? से नहीं नहीं वो चीफ मिनिस्टर का, कोई चीफ मिनिस्टर का मीटिंग था ना, तो सब चीफ मिनिस्टर लोग गया ना उधर, तो चीफ मिनिस्टर के साथ वो मशीन भेज दिया. मतलब व्हाट आर यू टॉकिंग अबाउट चीफ? ही एक्चुअली सेड चीफ मिनिस्टर, बाय द वे. चीफ मिनिस्टर लोग के साथ. I'm sorry, I'm in Delhi, I shouldn't be talking about any nonsense like that. So चीफ मिनिस्टर के पास गया ना हम. I said, are you joking? What? He said, मैं अभी आ रहा हूँ. I went on my little scooty, I went to VSNL, I ran into that guy's office and I gave him the speech of my life. I swear I've never done a better acting performance in my life. क्या मैंने चिल्लाया, क्या डायलॉग बाजी की मैंने. आपको शर्म आनी चाहिए, हिंदुस्तान का नाक कटा रहे हो तुम लोग, ऐसे कर रहे हो. And I was storming and I was thumping the thing. And he got damn scared. He said, देखो देखो, गया ने अभी तक वो मशीन पैक करके रख दिया है, वो पीछे कबाड़ के पीछे. I said, चलो निकालते. So I took out the machine, I plugged it in, it started making noise like a damn washing machine, and we started scanning the pictures. I didn't know what I was doing there. I said, अभी देखते क्या होता है. I went home at around 5 o'clock in the morning. I went home at around 5 o'clock in the morning after having this fight with this guy who refused to send my pictures, and then finally I took the law into my own hands. I literally felt I was holding him by the neck and shaking him and said, you have to send these pictures. It's very important for national pride and all that nonsense. The phone bell rang again. And this guy from Norway picked up the phone and said, hello? I said, yes. Mr. Irani? I said, yes. The photographs have arrived and they are fantastic. I said, thank you so much. I feel very proud. And then he asked me the dreaded question. So, Mr. Rani, what about the small matter of your payment? Oh, why do people call it the small matter? I have no idea. It's the only bloody matter, you know. So I said, Mr. Sandbo, I had told you before that I will charge you international rates. So, okay, no problem. I will just talk to my superiors and get back to you. So put the phone on the side. The phone is on. And when I had made the phone earlier, I was literally looking 3 minutes, call, international call, PP, no PP. You don't know of that concept. And he comes back after a few minutes. He picks up the phone and says, Mr. Irani? I said, yes. Okay, fine. I'm saying in my head, 3 pictures at 60, 180. 3 pictures at 100 is 300. I said, क्या बोलेगा? 180 बोलेगा या 300 बोलेगा? बीच का नहीं बोलेगा. Either R या par. So he says, Mr. Irani, okay, fine, we love the pictures. You can collect $300 for the pictures. So I'm the most excited man, guys. I started jiving with my wife, you know, while I'm on the phone. Yeah, baby, I'm jiving away. I said, okay, okay. He said, what's the matter? Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. No problem, no problem. He says, so fine. You collect the money from the boxing manager. Go tomorrow to the hotel and he'll give you the money. I said, okay. He says, so collect your $900. Suddenly my wife and I are jiving even more. Yeah, baby, yeah. And I'm saying to myself, this is a miracle. This is a miracle that tells me that if you're willing to take your life, control of your life, if you're willing to say that I am going to be somebody in life, if you're willing to say that I'm going to sort out all my laziness and not blame my lack of moving forward in life on somebody else, never blame the other guy for pushing you down. You will be out there in the world and in the corporate world or whichever world there'll be, and there will be politics. So do not make politics your suit. Do not let people who are indulging in politics make you feel down, because they have nothing to do with your success. Only you have everything to do with your success. And I'll tell you something, guys. I swear, Shakespeare is right. He said, it is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. It is the truth. Every time you blame somebody else for your lack of progress, you are doing another disservice by yourself because you're putting yourself down by even thinking like that. Nobody can make you successful and nobody can make you fail in what you do if you've decided to be successful in whatever you do. I went next day, I collected my $900, and 2 days after that, can you imagine, straight 2 days after that, I was sent to Chennai to shoot. MRF Tires had sponsored the World Cup. So they saw my pictures. So MRF said, will you go to Chennai and shoot the campaign for us? The MRF campaign that says, the tires we race are the tires you buy. I don't know, you're maybe too young to have seen that campaign. But I shot that campaign. Suddenly I was doing ad campaigns, getting paid well for it. My wife calls me up. I'm in Chennai. She never used to call. We couldn't afford trunk calls, but she used to write letters, and the letters would always be about the maid, and the maid is doing this, and the maid is doing. I said, please, get over with it, And she called me. I said, everything okay, Zenobia? I say, no. There's a check that's come. I said, what check? Say, it's a check of $900. I said, no, the money has been given. Please do not deposit that check because they've already paid us. So we'll have to send the check back or, destroy it and let them know. I stayed in Chennai for 3 months. And I worked at a photographer's studio as an assistant. I did his errands. I used to go and drop the film to the lab. I used to pick up the stuff. I used to go and make prints. I used to make coffee. I used to do all that kind of thing. And I'm 34 years old now, 33 and a half. And I came back to Bombay after 3 months, and I opened the check. Very proudly, I want to see what's in the check. What does a $900 check look like for a guy who used to make his one unit cost 20 rupees, 25 rupees, 30 rupees. $900 is an awful lot of money. And I saw the check. I said, let's Xerox it and frame it. But I opened the advice and I flipped it over, guys. And he said $900 for reusage of the photographs. They used the photographs again. And they paid me again. A month later, they sent me another check of $900, and then a month later, they sent me another check of $900, and a month later, they sent me another check of $900. This is the way, I said, this is the way they work in a world. In a world, guys, in a world where I didn't know the name of the magazine. We had no online facility to go and check what those pictures look like. I don't know those people. But every single time they used my pictures behind my back, they had the ethics and the honesty to pay me for my effort. And it was never said that every time you use the paper. That's the basis, I tell you, and that's the basis of my career, that if I ever do anything with dishonesty, I will fail. Whether it is even rehearsing for something half-heartedly, if you're not going prepared for something and doing it half-heartedly, you're a failure and you've cheated. If I come and stand on the stage and I do stuff half-heartedly, because it's just another thing, just go on stage and talk to college students and they're going to clap for you in any case, that's cheating. Cheating has got nothing to do with money. Cheating has got to do with what you feel in your heart. Have you given your 100% more than what people paid you for? And you will be paid 10 times over, just as I was. Now, I turn to photography. I set up a little studio. I've got the money. I get myself a little car. And Shamak Davar. You know Shamak Davar? Everybody here knows Shamak Davar? Yeah. Shamak Davar comes to my studio, and by now I'm starting, doing reasonably well as a photographer. He walks into my studio, okay? Another prophetic thing if you ask me. He walks into my studio and looks at me and says, you're going to be very famous one day. I said, what? As a photographer? I said, no, darling, no, not as a photographer. You're going to be very famous. You're going, trust me, darling, you're going to be very famous. I said, how the hell does this guy know? I don't know him. I've never met him before. And he's telling me I'm going to be very famous. He says, trust me. I did his portfolio. And I was entertaining him while doing his portfolio. And says, Boman, I'll never forget this. It's very important never to forget the people who have plotted your journey. You can't plot the journey yourself even if you do a great job. You think you're doing a great job doing it. He said, you are meant to be on stage. I said, yeah? He says, yes. When he came again to pick up his prince, he said, let me take you out for lunch. And instead of taking me out for lunch, he took me to Alec Padamsi's place. Everybody knows who Alec Padamsi is? Yeah? He takes me to his house and he says he's doing a play, a musical called Roshni. Okay? And I was supposed to do a part in it. So he says, Alec, just audition Boman. In the lift, Shamak asked me to hum a song. I hummed the song. He says, fine, no problem. We go into the audition. I sing my heart out for Alec Padamsi. And he sits there and he looks at me and says, you're Boman, you're Shamak, okay? Shamak! And Alec sticks his pelvis out like that. Like Virus did. I stole that walk from him. Shamak, I have been in this business for 14 years. And I know talent when I see it. And this man has no talent. I'm saying, what a rude man. So I said, okay, I'm okay with that. Shamak said, darling, if you don't take him in your play, I'm not choreographing your play. He says, really, you believe in this guy that much? He says, yes, I do believe he's got the stage presence. I do believe he has the voice. I do believe he has the acting ability and the singing ability to be on stage. Okay, we'll give him a small role. I said, okay. So he gave me the role of a pimp. I played in my first play, I played a pimp. Yeah, I'm proud of it, man. The show was a blooming disaster. But the press talked about me, and of course my mother, being a nice, plump Parsi mother, would go in the interval into the lobby and, ask everybody, how you like my son? Nice. I said, who's your son? Oh, the pimp, he's my son. I tell you, proud mothers. And that's the way I did my first play. The second play I did, immediately after that, was a play called I Am Not Baji Rao. We rehearsed for 6 months to that play. It was about 2 old men. I was supposed to play a 75-year-old man in that play. I was 35 at that time. And we were supposed to do only 3 shows. We ran that show for 10 years, simply because we didn't count that whether we were investing all that time for 3 shows. We ran that show for 10 houseful years. And then, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I was much bigger than this. Feroz Khan from theater, the theater Feroz Khan, calls me and says that he wants to cast me in a play called Mahatma versus Gandhi. I said, what role do you want me to play? He says, Gandhi. I thought he was joking. I lost 26 kilos to play Gandhi till my ribs could be seen with a shawl. I went to hospital because of the intense jerk I gave my body because I lost so much weight so fast. But I do believe that if a guy my size can play Gandhi and convince people that he's Gandhi, the very important thing is that you've got to convince yourself that you are that person. And in life, and whatever you do, please convince yourself first that you're going to be successful before other people tell you that you are going to be successful. That was the time. People from the movies, producers, started calling me for roles. And I kept saying no because I was not ready to do something that was going to be half-hearted. Vinod Chopra. Everybody knows Vinod Chopra? Vinod Chopra saw me in a film that we made, an experimental film on a handy cam. These digital cameras that we have today are wonderful. The handy cam, do you remember the little handy cam? They called it digital, but it was terrible. But we shot an entire movie, which we shot for 8 or 9 days. We wrote that movie. I was a co-writer on that movie. For 6 to 8 months, we wrote the movie and shot it in 8, 9 days and made a movie called Let's Talk. That film went to Vinod Chopra. Vinod Chopra saw it. Yara, wo kaun hai wo actor Irani, usko bula mere paas. Ye the wonderful, what a wonderful performance, yaar. And I went and met Vinod Chopra. He congratulated me for the performance. We were never going to release that movie. I don't know, there was no viral kind of internet kind of stuff those days either. Vinod Chopra gave me a check that very night. He said, "Arey Boman Yara, ye le 2 lakh rupees." 2 lakh rupees. I said, "For what?" "Next year, what are you doing?" "Next year, December." So I said, "Next year, December, I don't know what I'm doing. What the hell are you doing?" He said, "I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that I'll be making a movie at some point next year. And I tell you something," and this was his way of appreciating what I was up to. He says that if you show this movie to other people, by then you will not have dates for me. So I'm blocking December. Next year is mine. I couldn't have felt happier. I couldn't have felt prouder that moment. And then I went home because, of course, I gave him the check back, yeah. And he took it also, yeah. I 6 months later, Vinod Chopra called me. "Arey Boman Yara, tere liye ek bahut acha role hai. Picture ka naam hai Munna Bhai MBBS." And on the phone, he narrates the story to me. "Arey, it's very funny. It's about this guy. He wants to be a doctor. He's a gunda. He's like that." I can't understand a damn word he's saying. And then, "You're the dean of the college and all, and you will keep laughing." Well, I'll keep laughing? Why will I keep laughing? I'm saying, what the hell is this? Why should I keep laughing, I couldn't understand a word of that film. I found it ridiculous. So guess what I did? I said, "No, I'm not doing this movie. It doesn't make sense to me. Just because people are willing to pay you money, it doesn't mean you've got to take everything that comes your way." 6 months later, he tried Amrish Puri said no. He tried Paresh Rawal said no. He went and asked Pankaj Kapoor, he said no. Everybody was saying no for this movie. Vivek Oberoi was supposed to be Munna. He said no. Then they went to Shah Rukh Khan to play Munna. He said yes, but then he said no. Then he went to somebody else. Everybody said no. Aishwarya Rai was supposed to play the girl, and she said no. Kajol was supposed to be the girl, then she said no. Tabbu was supposed to be the girl, then she said no. Finally, we got Gracie Singh. At that point, he said, "Boman, ek kaam kar yara. Go and meet this wonderful assistant of mine. Go meet him." I said, "Oh God, I'm not meeting another assistant." Said, "Go meet him. Zara baat kar le, bahut acha pyara ladka hai yaar. He's a very soft-spoken fellow yaar. Go talk to him." I said, "Okay, I might as well go here." उसका नाम है राजू हिरानी. बहुत अच्छा लड़का है यार. Coming up, he's upcoming boy. I said, "Okay." I went and met Raju Hirani. I said, "I'm coming back in 20 minutes. I'm not going to sit here." I sat with Raju Hirani for 8 hours in his office while he narrated me the story. And the thing that attracted me to Munna Bhai MBBS was the same thing I saw. Passion, fire in the belly, and honesty. And I said, forget about the movie. I'll get to hang out with such a lovely guy. I made a friend that very instant, and he's my dearest friend I have till date in the film industry. I don't have any other friends. He's my dearest friend. And before, I didn't say yes, I didn't say no. It was just understood by me and by him that I was doing the movie. And then I went ahead and did Munna Bhai MBBS. And from that point on, my life changed. I did not go back to the studio because suddenly I realized that the phone was ringing and people were calling. And suddenly, something new happened in my life. People wanted a picture of mine. People wanted an autograph of mine. And let me tell you, it's a wonderful feeling. It's a really, really wonderful feeling. I can say very proudly, I can say this extremely proudly. I've done 70 films. I'm not a mega star, but I can say this with honesty and pride that I have never, since that date, refused anybody an autograph. I will not. Because at that point of time, I love the moment that somebody wanted my autograph. So So 10 years later, when you feel that you've seen the world and you think that you're some big shot now, why should I stop taking those or giving those autographs? Why should I stop giving those photographs? I think that is really wrong. We lose innocence. And that's the point I'm coming for you guys right now. I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you youngsters, where is my darling Kanika? Where are you? Kanika, very successful one day. You're all going to be extremely powerful. Some of you will be in positions of power, but you will be the captain of your own destiny. We are assuming that. But considering where you guys coming from, I do not doubt it that you're going to be successful, each and every one of you. But beware of that. Beware of that power. When a guy comes from the village looking for a job, for a watchman, the moment you make him wear the watchman's uniform, he thinks he's a bloody colonel. That's power. And the walk changes and the talk changes. So that's what's going to happen to you. When you get a position of power, your walk will change and your talk will change. Because you guys are going to make money and you're going to be very successful. So this is the time that you have to look at yourself and the friends around you and the way that you're sitting and listening to what I'm talking to with such innocence. When you put up shows on this stage, you do it with innocence. You do it with pride, and you will work harder than anything else you'll ever do. You know why? Because you're not being paid for it. You're doing it because you're passionate about it. You're sitting here because you're passionate about what you're listening. Do not lose this, guys, because you will be successful. And I have seen in front of my very eyes people who are up there. They ruin themselves because they feel that I'm fed up of giving autographs. I'm fed up of taking pictures with fans. Why were you not fed up when you were kicked that you became a star? That day, why were you not fed up? Why were they, suddenly, you've become a man of the world, or a woman of the world, and you don't think it's important to give your fans a picture. That is the power that you'll be having. And it's all very relative. I'm not saying you'll be signing autographs and taking pictures. In your own fields, you're going to be successful. Don't ruin it for yourself by being obnoxious. Don't believe that you are indestructible. And please, for a minute, do not believe that the world cannot turn its back on you, because it will. It will, guys. Remember one thing, what they say in the aeroplane, okay? When the pressure goes down, there'll be an oxygen mask will come down. You wear the oxygen mask and do not help anybody till you have helped yourself. Fix your own heads first. Make sure that you retain your innocence. Make sure that you do not get corrupted by your own power, because you will be destroyed. And I've seen it happening in front of you. There are names that you know. What happened to that guy? Why did he disappear? Why did the world was there not? No. That guy thought he was too big and he did it to himself. Don't let this happen to you guys. Retain this. I love the smiles on your faces. You're wonderful, Just keep that. I was shooting for Munna Boy MBBS, and there was an old man, an old junior artist, okay? You know what a junior artist is, right? The junior artist was sitting in the corner, and during lunchtime he said, "Beta, idhar aa." I said, "Ji." Ikram Chacha, his name was. And I said, "Beta, aapse baat karni hai." मैं बोला, "जी बोलिए." I said, "वैन में आइए." ऐसे नहीं, हम लोग जूनियर आर्टिस्ट वैन में नहीं जा सकते। सर नहीं, आप वैन में आइए ना। इसे मैं आपको देख रहा हूँ, इतने दिनों से ये मुन्ना भाई में आप काम कर रहे हैं, आपकी उम्र क्या है? बोला 44। पहली फिल्म है? हाँ जी, पहली फिल्म है। तो 44 की उम्र में आप पहली फिल्म डेब्यू कर रहे हैं? बोले उसमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Who ever said that you were supposed to debut at 21? Who said that? You make your own bloody rules. I want to debut at 44, I debuted at bloody 44, man. So he said कि आप बहुत कॉलेज बॉय की तरह एक्साइटेड है, बहुत आप में मासूमियत है। मैं बोला हाँ बहुत अच्छा है, मेरी पहली फिल्म है ना चाचा, मैं बहुत एक्साइटेड हूँ यार, बहुत पिक्चर आएगी, प्रीमियर होगा, प्रीमियर में जाएंगे, क्या क्या करेंगे। ऑटोग्राफ भी एक जन ने पूछा मेरे से, बोला देखो बेटा आप अवार्ड जीतने वाले पिक्चर के लिए। बोला अच्छा, हाँ आप अवार्ड जीतने वाले। अच्छा आपको कैसे? अरे मुझे सब मालूम है यार, मैं सबको देखा हूँ, दिलीप कुमार से लेके अभी तक विवेक ओबरॉय तक देखा हूँ मैं। आपको अवार्ड मिलने वाला है. And Munna Bhai was supposed to be a flop. He was not even going to succeed. He says, yes, आपको अवार्ड मिलेगा. लेकिन उसके बाद ध्यान रखना, ये मासूमियत चली जाएगी, आपका पावर चले जाएगा. सुपरमैन है अभी, आप सुपरमैन से खत्म हो जाएंगे. मतलब क्यों? क्योंकि ये है ना, ये जो आप मशहूर हो जाते हैं ना, शोहरत और ये आपको पैसा मिलेगा, आपको लगे वैसे भी लोग पैसे कर रहे हैं, मेहनत क्यों करूं? आपको वही होगा. ध्यान रखना अपने आप को बचा लो, अपने आप से बचा लो. आई थिंक दैट्स द बेस्ट एडवाइस. Munna Bhai released on the 27th of December 2002, okay? 7 days later, the nominations came out for the Star Screen Awards. Just in 7 days. Can you imagine how the world is spinning on its head right now for me? 7 days later, I was nominated for Munna Bhai MBBS. I was so blooming happy, I stopped the car in the middle of the road. Cop came and told me, hey, आगे चलाओ. I said, नहीं, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ. क्यों, क्या खुश है? मेरे नॉमिनेशन मिला. नॉमिनेशन क्या? मैं पिक्चर में काम किया. I told him I was saying sorry यार, मैं एक्साइट हो गया. अरे मामू, से मामू, हाँ मिलेगा अवार्ड 101 ही रिकॉग्नाइज में. अरे सर पे बाल कभी आ गए यार, तुम तो टकला थे वो पिक्चर में. And really, 7 days later, I am in the nominee list for Munna Bhai MBBS. 7 days after film is released. I mean, it's a little rarity that things like that happen. I reached the night before to the venue to do a rehearsal, and Arshad Varsi asks me, Bom, what are you wearing tomorrow? I forgot. We're supposed to wear clothes. So I said, what are you wearing? I said, you go and wear a nice dark suit. I don't have a suit. So you don't have a suit? Say, नहीं यार अर्शद, मैं कहाँ यार, मुझे सूट की जरूरत थी नहीं. I don't have a suit. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. So at 11 o'clock in the night, he calls up his tailor. And said, अरे नरेश, सुनो, एक सूट बनाना है, एक दिन में, एक रात में. पागल हो गया? किसके लिए? वो एक बमन ईरानी करके एक्टर. मैं उसको जानता नहीं, छोड़ो यार, मुझे नहीं करना. अरे यार बनाना यार. He said, कौन बमन ईरानी? He says, वो मुन्ना भाई में मामू था ना. ओ मामू, मैं बनाएगा सूट. And he made the suit in 20 hours. He sent it to, I said, what about size? He says, नहीं वो मैं उसका फोटो से देख के मैं measurement ले लेगा. And the suit came. I dressed up backstage. The moment I fixed my tie, Prem Chopra announced Best Supporting Actor Boman Irani. I went from backstage to collect my award. This is not about awards, guys. This is what I'm trying to tell you, that remember, I hope and pray to God that I'm 55 years old now. I hope and pray to God that life doesn't corrupt me. Life doesn't make me lose my innocence. The love that you show me is treated as love, not as adulation. Because adulation corrupts. Love makes you grow bigger. You know what I mean? So I'm really grateful to you guys for showing me your love. Adulation is something that can corrupt you. I work for the man in the mirror, ladies and gentlemen. I do not work for anyone's approval. Of course, we love approval. We like encouragement. But wherever you work and whatever you do, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, did I do a good job today? And if the mirror approves, only then should you sleep. A quick jam up. Many years later, I decided to do a character called Virus. And I said, you know, we all make our weaknesses and treat them as our weaknesses. Why can't we treat our weaknesses as our strengths? When I was a kid, people used to laugh about my lisp. Why don't I use that lisp and use it as a strength and put it into the character Virus? And I put it into the character Virus. And again, after another awards function, you know, everybody knows Javed Akhtar. Huh? We went backstage, you know, after Javed Akhtar, I went and we went to the men's room. You know what happens in the men's room. Girls may not know, but boys know that we face the wall in the men's room with little Okay? Do I have to spell it out? No. So I'm facing the wall, and in comes Javed Akhtar. He had won the award for best lyrics or something. So, oh, hello, Mr. Irani. So, very nice, I must say. Your performance in in Three Idiots was superb. Now, I'm finding this very weird. No, he's talking to me like this. And then he asked me the very dreaded question. Tell me one thing. This lisp you have in Three Idiots, by any chance have you copied me? I said, no. He said, you may not have noticed, but even I have a lisp. Ladies and gentlemen, young boys, young girls, you all are tired now, giving me tissues? Young boys, young girls. Firstly, I want to tell you that I have not been to a college and got a degree, but the world is your playground. I'm standing and talking to you. I think it's a degree enough. Don't you think? I feel that in this world, yes, it's good to be respected, but respect yourself first. I've been to Wharton to speak. I feel so privileged to go and speak at such wonderful institutes all over the world. What have I done? I've done nothing. My story is not spectacular. I've not climbed Mount Everest on one lung or one kidney. I've just done my job honestly, and I've just done it with innocence, and I've just done it with passion. That's all I've done. There's no big deal. It's not a big deal to do your job with innocence and passion, but if you can manage to do that, believe me, someday, you'll feel like I'm feeling today. I'm feeling wonderful. I feel charmed. Thank you very much. I feel extremely proud to have been here today, guys.